Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here once again with Brody King. Not in person this time, but my God, I'm already kind of looking at what you got behind you there and being like, oh my God, the nerd corner is elite back there, huh?
Oh yeah, we're doing good. We're eating good. We got comic books, toys, we got it all.
It's friggin' awesome. Obviously, AEW all in on Saturday afternoon. I want to start there. What's it like wrestling in a stadium? You've had the experience of wrestling in a stadium, and we hear all the time that it's harder for the wrestlers because the obviously sound is just crazy, echoing off everything, and you can't hear it as well. Is that true? Do you find that to be true?
Um, I guess it depends on the stadium. Like wrestling at Wembley when there's like 80,000 people, that was like, I don't know, you could see like the first 10 rows and then you just get lost. It's definitely, it doesn't feel as loud, I guess. Also because everything, like especially Wembley is open air, so it all goes up. Um,
Yeah,
but I think that the all in this year is enclosed. I could be wrong. I don't
I
know.
think it is.
Um, so yeah, that I think that will play a big difference in it. I think wrestling in stadiums is cool. Um, but my punk rock heart loves to wrestle in a room of 500 people. I feel like that's where you like feed off of like every person in the room. Um, but yeah, I mean it's like completely different worlds. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I noticed yesterday was 3 years since your match with Moxley for the AEW interim world title. And everyone was tweeting highlights from that yesterday, praising the match. Looking back 3 years later, what's the thing that sticks out to you the most about it?
About that match.
Yeah, about that whole night, I guess.
I mean that whole situation was really crazy. Like, um, I got that match because I won the first Royal Rampage, which was the two ring thing, and I beat Darby in the end. That's where I did the choke hang for the first time. And that was funny because I didn't know I don't even know if there was a name for the style of match or if the match had even been planned yet. Uh, but I had gotten booked for that Wednesday. I think it was in Nashville or something. And then the day before I was just like, oh, I don't think House of Black is needed. You guys can stay home. And then it was like Tuesday at like midnight. I was just like, hey, can you still come tomorrow? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, it's my job. So then I showed up and it was just like, hey, we're doing this thing called the Royal Rampage and you're gonna win. It's just like, oh, okay. It's like, and you're gonna wrestle Moxley in a couple weeks. It's like, oh, okay. That's crazy. So it went
Awesome.
from like 0 to 100. And then yeah, I felt like the Royal Rampage and um it was like the coffin match with Darby, the Royal Rampage, and then this match with Moxley was kind of like what like solidified my like footing in AEW, and I think really represented what I had to bring to AEW.
The Brody King trilogy, you could call it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's the,
could,
the
yeah.
intro trilogy.
The
Would you
hat
put
trick.
that up there with one of your favorite matches that you've had, the Moxley one on one?
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I would love to run it back anytime.
And then, like, creatively, would you prefer a one-on-one match, or do you like kind of what a multi-man match allows you to do with different people, different things, different spots?
It's funny because I've always considered myself a singles wrestler, but like I feel over the course of the last 10 years, most of my like success has been in like tag team wrestling or like some iteration of like a group. And I feel like I always come into matches like with great ideas for other people. Like, I'm like, hey, do you think you can do this and this? And they're just like, whoa, what? Like, it's always like, I always try to think of like the most chaotic way of doing things and, try to be creative for other people. And then someone goes, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I was like, I only have ideas for you. Like, but,
Do you see yourself, like, after your wrestling career is over, becoming a producer for that reason or becoming a coach for that reason?
I mean, I would love to, because it's like, I watch wrestling now and I'm like, oh, I think this would be really cool for this person to do. And then like I'll
Mhm.
bring it up to him like at work. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? And they're like, oh shit. So it's like I enjoy that process of just like cooking up stuff for other people or just like thinking of off the wall things that they might not have thought about. And it usually comes from like reading comic books or watching movies. I'm like, hey, I saw this thing. I don't even know if it's humanly possible, but do you think you could do something like this? And then it's like, And then of course you have someone like Will Ospreay that's like, mate, I can do anything, bro. I don't know.
And you've had the awesome, obviously, multi-man match recently where you brought back the Hang with MJF and put posters on sale, which I thought was hilarious. You've had some great merch coming out recently. Obviously, you just raised $27,000, which was friggin' awesome. But then you put the goofy ass poster on sale. I feel like Brody King merch is on the up and up right now.
Hey, I have some wacky ideas, and you know, I've been doing merch for a long time. So it's
Yeah.
like I've seen things, and it's like I've had the idea for that poster for a long time. I wanted to make it with Darby, but it works better obviously with MJF because he's a piece of shit. Uh, but you know, I've always thought of the cat hanging on the string, the hang in there poster, as being like, you know, iconic in like pop culture, and bringing that back as that I thought was really funny. Which this Friday will be available for 1 hour at Pro Wrestling Tees on a T-shirt. So if you didn't get the poster, you can get the T-shirt.
Amazing. I love it. Do you feel like being in like the hardcore and music realm and having to make merch for a band and seeing band merch and shit and then coming over to wrestling, do you think that actually helps with like your crossover game?
Oh, 100%. It's a curse and a blessing because there's so much bad wrestling merch. Like I
Yeah.
don't gotta, you know, tell anybody. They all know. And it's not AEW, it's everybody. It's, you know, all companies, it's all wrestlers. They have such bad merch. It's crazy. Uh, you know, just look at a band t-shirt. Look at anything. Look at a movie poster. Just rip that off. Who cares? Like, just please make better merch. And you know, if it's not me being a producer later on, maybe I'll take over the merch game at AEW. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it, but something's got to change.
Give me like one merch pet peeve. If you see this on a wrestling shirt, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, honestly, I hate just like person's name and their face. If it's just like a normal picture of that, it's like I don't want to wear someone else's face on my shirt. Like it's like have it covered in blood or have it like I don't know, have you looking cool somehow. But if it's just like you smiling and it's just whatever, I'm like, I'm good.
I recently spoke to the Hardys about this, and I wanted to get your take on it. The supposed like lost art of working and calling things in the ring. Do you feel kind of a pull to that at all, to working to what a crowd is doing, even if it's not something you discussed prior, being like, let's start calling things on the fly, or is that not even a concern to you?
No, I think that it is super important. When I was trained as a wrestler, I feel like my coach Joey Chaos, he really um, wanted to establish that you needed to learn that style of wrestling to call it in the ring, just in case anything goes off the rails, which it does. Uh, and you know, there's a lot of young wrestlers who didn't learn that, and when it goes off the rails, you see like the deer in the headlights, and then everything just kind of falls apart, and they don't know how to get it back on track, and then it's just a mess, and nobody wants to be in that situation, and it doesn't make anybody feel good. Uh, you know, the fans are chanting "You fucked up," and
Yeah.
you want to die in that moment, and it's up to you to be able to pull that back together, and you know, being able to just like grab somebody and like say a couple things and then get it back on track is shockingly really not easy. Uh, so yeah, I do think that it is very important to at least know how to do it. And it's like I'm not somebody that is gonna ever be like, oh, let's go call our whole match out there. Like that, I don't
Mhm.
think anybody ever did that. I don't care who the old timer was because I've had many of them tell me that it's bullshit. They all plan stuff, you know.
Mhm.
Everyone plans it, and then they sure there's improvisation within the match. There's calling some of it out there, like you know, if something's really working, you keep doing that thing, or if someone's really getting booed and someone's really getting cheered, maybe you switch the heel and the face role. But I do think it is important to at least know how to do it.
Yeah. And then I have a few like rapid fire questions for wrestling. Just kind of name the wrestler that comes to mind first. The strongest wrestler you've ever been in the ring with.
Uh, Off the top of my head, Jeff Cobb. That man is freakishly strong.
The funniest wrestler you've ever met.
Probably Brian Danielson with Bill Carr, aka Dutch, being a second.
Brian Danielson's an interesting pick. I haven't heard his name come up before, but I mean, I've interviewed
He
him before. I know he is a funny guy.
he is a funny guy, and he has a way of getting everyone just riled up on like the most bizarre like topics. Is that you go into the locker room and it's like a question that you would have never thought of in a million years, and you're just like, why are we talking about this? And it's just like, yeah, and it always goes, well, Brian, and then it's like Brian just has come up with this scenario, and now everyone is discussing it, and it's always very off the wall.
The stiffest wrestler you've ever been in the ring with?
um, Stiffest wrestler. I don't know, probably me. uh,
the,
I got whacked in the head a couple times by Sandman with the kendo stick. That was not fun,
oh
but you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Not much give in the kendo stick, I guess. Well, a little bit of give, but a lot of smack.
yeah, a lot of smack.
Yeah. The best technical wrestler you've ever been in the ring with?
Uh, Again, probably Brian Danielson.
Yeah. And then the most painful finisher that you've ever taken?
I don't know. I feel like I'm blessed in the fact that like anything that's like super crazy usually can't be done on me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Jeff
although
Hardy was able to bring up the fact that he got bonsai dropped by Yokozuna when he was 17. I was like, all
I
right,
mean, you
that's
know
probably
that
pretty fucking painful.
whatever, humble brag, you know. You know, but I say that, and then Will Ospreay gives me a Stormbreaker, which is you would think would be very difficult for somebody to do. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I got to think about that. Getting dropped on your head sucks, you know.
Yeah. That's why I gave up the wrestling training real quick. It's not for me. I also know you've got Sound and Fury this weekend, and you just had your first God's Hate shows in the UK. I wanted to ask about the UK shows. Was the energy completely different there, or is it like a God's Hate show energy is the same anywhere you take it in the world?
I mean, we try to have like a certain energy and a certain like, level that we expect and kind of command from the crowd. And I feel like we were able to achieve that in the UK. Uh, it was two completely different shows. And it was kind of like we were just discussing with stadium versus, 500 cap room. We played Outbreak Fest, which was like 6,000 people, which was incredible. That amount of people watching your band play is always awesome, and like we had a great reception. um but it's also like aggressive music fan, not exactly like hardcore fan. So it's like we had a lot of
Yeah.
hardcore kids that were there to enjoy hardcore music, but then there was just people, like push moshing or like getting up on stage and dancing around with their shirt off. I don't know, just being, just doing what they want, which is awesome. But then we had a show in London in like a 400 cap room, and that was sold out. And that was like, that was a true hardcore show where everyone's a hardcore kid, and it was awesome. So it was like two very different shows, two really awesome shows. But yeah, we definitely brought the God's Hate vibe to the UK.
When someone gets
And
on stage and they're just like dancing around or whatever, do the veins start popping out of your forehead, like choke slam them into the crowd?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, uh, yeah. I feel like sometimes I get a little bit. It's like I'm like a pit bull playing with a kitten. It's like people are like coming at me, and I just like start pushing them or like whatever, like shoulder checking them, and they're just like, "Oh, sorry," and then they stop getting on stage. I'm like, "No, keep coming!" Like they they don't want me to attack them, but they just want to be having a good time.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, then on Sunday we have Sound and Fury. At Exposition Park in Los Angeles, the greatest hardcore fest on the planet. And my weekend is a little dense.
Yeah, for real.
So we're doing All In Texas, and then we're doing Sound and Fury in Los Angeles, and
Are you getting on like a red eye flight or like that
yep,
morning or
yep,
yeah.
taking a red eye, waking up early on Sunday, going all day in the hot LA sun, and then you know We got to get
And
it
that's
done.
rock and roll. It's
That's
rock and
rock
roll.
and roll.
You're getting right over there for it. Yeah. And you mentioned before, like the moment where, say, a crowd is chanting, "You fucked up. You fucked up." I love asking bands, like, what is your biggest Spinal Tap moment? That's kind of the wrestling equivalent of like a Spinal Tap, oh shit, things are going wrong moment. Do you have one with God's Hate that comes to mind right away?
Um, Not really. Like I've definitely forgotten like entire verses of like songs that I've wrote. It's just like
Yeah.
it just leaves my brain, and then I'm like, well, I don't know this. So it's like, and then it's like
Give it
you
to the
hope that
crowd.
you hope that the crowd knows it, and then sometimes they don't. And then there's definitely been times where I've turned around to my best friend Colin, who's like the other half of God's Hate, and I just go, it's like I don't know.
Did you even like comment or have to comment on the ridiculous controversy that your bandmate Colin got into for seemingly moshing in a mosh pit?
Dude. He moshed to a band, and the
Did I
crazy
read
part
that it
is
was
just like
his brother's band too? It was his brother's like reuniting band?
it was his brother's band. His brother
Listen, if,
Taylor
if it's
Young's
your
band
brother's
Disgrace.
band, you got to go hard for your brother. It's
He hit a
family.
spin kick, and there was a fellow pitter that caught it in the face, and the next day he like dabbed him up. And he's just like, "Yo, respect," But it's like,
I
but
saw
then
that
everyone's
guy
just like,
tweeting. The guy was
"Yeah,
like, I didn't care. That's a mosh pit. Like, that's what a
yeah,
hardcore show is. And everyone else was mad at Colin.
yeah." Everyone's upset with Colin because he threw honestly the most flawless spin kick knockout I've ever seen in my life.
Unreal. Unreal. It was Alistair Black level, like on
Yeah.
the button.
And
Yeah.
it's like people were like, that was purposeful. It's like the timing that he would have had to plan for this guy to be coming this way to hit him flush across the face. It's like,
A moving
it's
target.
come
Yeah.
on. It's like,
I've only dipped my toes in the hardcore waters. And even me, I was like, that's what fucking happens. It's a mosh pit. Come
I
on.
know. Robbie knows. We got to
Did you
get you out
catch
to a
any of
God's
the
Hate show.
dude, I really would love to come to a God's Hate show for real. Like
You got to
that's
watch the
for
dog
sure
though,
a bucket list thing now. Like I've
Yeah.
seen Oasis now, God's Hate now on the bucket list.
Dude, I was like, how are we going to do this interview if this man is in the UK right now?
No, I got back quick.
Did you go to
Um,
the Black Sabbath concert?
no, but that was going to be my next question for you. Did you catch any of the final Black Sabbath concert?
I mean, I've watched quite a bit of videos, and it looked amazing. And
Yeah,
it's
it
cool
looked pretty
because like I
sweet.
have a lot of friends that went to go see the Oasis show and then went to Birmingham it's like that's like the ultimate rocker weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like UK rock. Holy shit, you're watching the reunion of a band that's been broken up for 16 years and then the send off of the greatest heavy metal band of all time, the
Yeah,
the
the
creators of it
two
all.
gods of their genres.
Yeah, it was just cool to see Ozzy get a send off, knowing that for years he's been saying I would love to have one final goodbye, and the fact that they made it work and everyone kind of you could tell everyone is just trying their best to be like let's prop Ozzy up. So I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, on a chair. It's all good.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
as much as he could
respect to
on a
like,
throne, not a chair.
dude, he like the guy can't walk, and he's just like still rocking his ass off, and like
Yeah.
sounds great. Like, dude, Black Sabbath is the goat. That's
How
all it
about
is.
Bill Ward going tarps off, popping the top at 77 years old? He
Dude,
didn't give a
he's so
fuck.
sick. He's so sick.
Yeah. What are you listening to right now? Can you put me onto any new music?
What am I listening to right now? God, it's like I feel like I have like a constant playlist of like new stuff, and then like when somebody asks me, it's just like I don't listen to music actually. I've never heard it before. I don't know what you're talking about. Um,
Do you listen to a lot of music for your kids? Is there a lot of kids on the playlist?
Yeah, a lot of kids on the playlist. My daughter loves Lady Gaga, so the Mayhem record has been on constant repeat, which I don't mind at all because I'm a huge Gaga fan.
Oh yeah,
My
that'd be
son just
funny
like,
to like pull up to you next at a red light and hear you blasting Gaga. It would shock me.
oh yeah, yeah, as it does most people. But yeah, my son just likes weird like he started playing video games recently, so he loves just like any like soundtrack to a video game. Like he likes the Astrobot song, which is like mind numbing to me, but he enjoys it. So that usually gets on the playlist. We play like everyone picks a song and everyone gets to go around. So
Nice.
then it comes to dads and they're just like, I don't like this song. I'm like, well, I'll listen to yours. Leave me alone. Uh, but no, there's a lot of great new bands out right now. There's a band called Extinguish, uh, that's from Northern California on Days Records. What else? There's a band called Split Knuckle that we played with in London. They've been a band for quite a while, but they just put out a record that is really heavy, mixed between death metal and hardcore, and it's really awesome. Um, the singer has the greatest spin kick I've ever seen. He just keeps
Oh
doing it
shit.
on stage. It's awesome. Uh, yeah, I've been listening to that. I actually met and saw and heard for the first time Denzel Curry at that
Oh yeah.
Outbreak Fest, and we like kind of hit it off right away. And he's been wearing a God's Hate shirt for the last week and a half, which has been awesome when he's doing all of his media. Uh, but yeah, he's incredibly talented, and I like his music as well.
Yeah, I like him too. He's sweet.
Yeah, um, Pain of Truth, the Long Island natives.
Yep.
They just came out with a split with a band called Tsunami from Northern California. That's awesome. Both those bands rock, and I think they're both wrapping up a European, like a really long European tour right now. So, yeah, that's some new
Yeah,
bands,
that's
newer
enough for me to
bands.
dive into for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I have kind of that rapid fire segment, but twisted the questions now towards music. So, the strongest vocal performance you've ever seen live.
probably Gaga. Like I went and saw her play Truist Park 2 years ago, and she played for an hour and a half, like, and crushed everything. And you're just like, I can't play for 30 minutes without just like smoking my voice. But obviously, like, that's why she's the GOAT, you know?
Yeah. Funniest musician you've ever met?
Ugh, that is like an impossible question. Probably the guitarist of my band, Anthony
Colin.
Gonzalez.
Oh,
Yes.
Anthony.
No, not Colin. Colin is very funny. Colin has a very long history of being funny. He was very popular in the what was the what was the TikTok before TikTok? The like
Musically
no. It was like
or
the like
Vine?
15-second video Vine. He was very
Yeah.
popular on Vine for doing Dr. Pepper. He was a Dr. Pepper guy. But no, Anthony is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Everything he does is funny. You just look at him and he'll just give you a look and you laugh.
The craziest crowd you've ever been in or seen live?
Craziest crowd I've ever seen. Hardcore show. Probably Sound and Fury. What was it? What would it be? 2022. There was like 5,000 people, and it was just like when God's Hate played, there was just like five different mosh pits, and everyone is just going nuts. That was awesome. Uh, I saw Slayer at the Palladium. It was like their like return to Los Angeles, and that was like unbelievable.
They played
What
Cardiff the night before Oasis, and we could hear them from our hotel a mile away from the venue,
dude?
literally 1 mile away.
That's so sick. And
Yeah.
it was right after like Jeff Hanneman passed away, and like when they started playing Rain and Blood, like they had a huge Slayer backdrop, and then like a giant like banner popped down with like the Heineken logo and just said like Jeff Hanneman, like Rain and Blood. Like it was amazing. Or Stay Raining or whatever. It was yeah, it was awesome.
And then the worst injury you've sustained at a local hardcore punk show.
uh I mean, I've broken my nose numerous times.
And then what's the play after
Actually,
you break your nose? Do you leave the show? Do you stay for the rest
fuck
of the show? What
no.
do you do?
You go in the bathroom, you set your nose back, and then you go back out there and you keep
He
participating.
said it. Oh
Oh yeah,
shit.
I've set my own and multiple other people's noses throughout the history of my you know life.
So
Like
you're a pro, okay? If
yeah,
you break your nose at a God's Hate show, hop on stage, say, "I need a quick set." Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, it was like as long as it's not flat, if it's just to the side, that's an easy fix.
Oh. Oh.
Dr. Brody at your service. Um, but I actually the worst injury I did a stage dive and nobody caught me and it flipped right onto my back and bruised my hip flexors. And I literally thought I was paralyzed. Like
Oh
I like
no.
laid there. I was like, fuck. And then I had to like hobble my way out of the venue. It was just like the next day, like walking with a cane. And it was just like, I've broken my back. And this was just when I was starting wrestling. I was like, ruined my wrestling career. Or, what was not even a vision at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't bruise your hip flexors. It hurts really fucking bad.
But that didn't, I mean, like shy you away. There's that classic. I think it is from Sound and
Yeah.
Fury, right? The picture you diving and like everyone below you, fucking hands up. That
Yep.
picture rocks.
Yeah, that was a spur of the moment. Like, fuck it, here we go. And
Yeah.
it's funny because one of the producers for Hardlores, which is Colin's podcast,
Mhm.
one of the producers for the podcast was just like, he just like was just like, oh, I'm just gonna take a shot real quick, and just that, and then that was just a photo of me like, full Christ there in the air.
Yeah. It's friggin' awesome. Again, thank you for talking to me about All In and obviously God's Hate. Do we got new God's Hate music coming anytime soon?
It is cooking. Yes, I
All
feel
right,
like
sweet.
we've been asked this, and it's like we don't
I
want to disappoint
figured, yeah.
anybody. And it's like the last record was like so well received that like we really want this one to be as up to everyone's expectation. So
Mhm.
we're really just taking our time with it. I think after Sunday we're gonna kind of go dormant for a little bit, and then we'll make a big comeback when we got some new music.
Cool. Well, I'll keep my eyes and ears peeled for it. Obviously, All In Saturday, Sound and Fury Sunday. It's the weekend of Brody King this weekend.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you.